Velocity morning, peace and blessings. All right, so getting to the moon, Stambhana and Vedic astrology. Stambhana being the condition to where the planetary qualities get frozen or they get stopped. You know what I'm saying, due to this planet being conjunct with another planet, right? And in Vedic, moon becomes Stambhana when it's conjunct Saturn. Why is this so? First, let me start off with the qualities of the moon, right? So the moon is pretty much your inner child. You know what I'm saying? That inner child who's vulnerable, who's sensitive, who is fresh and new to the world, who has that the childlike plasticity of the mind, who's just readily taking in and absorbing all the information from its environment or whatnot, right? This vulnerable child, but at the same time, the child that seeks the safety, seeks the peace and the comfort of the home, of the mother, of being in the room, and you know what I'm saying, the love and intimacy of the mother, the nourishment of the mother, the nourishment of the family, and all of those things or whatnot, right? Those things which calm our inner emotional world experience, right? Those things that bring peace to the heart and whatnot. That is pretty much what the moon represents in astrology. And yeah, the moon is a real innocent planet. You know what I'm saying? It's the real softer aspects of the mind, if you will, and whatnot. And the reason that it becomes frozen or stopped when it's with Saturn, Saturn is not a naturally peaceful planet. Saturn's goal is peace, stability, equilibrium, right? Its goal is success. Its goal is super strong levels of foundation and existence and its success and all that. But Saturn, it starts off weak. It starts off in a state of imbalance. It starts off flawed. It starts off wrong. It starts off in a lower position. It starts off insecure, anxiety, fears. You know what I'm saying? Black sheep and different things of this nature or whatnot, right? So when the moon comes conjunct with Saturn, the reason that the moon kind of gets frozen, it's like it can bring to the mind a lot of different depressions, a lot of aspects of self-consciousness, you feel me? A lot of believing that it's nothing you could really do to bring peace or that inner calm and equanimity to your reality. This can bring a sense to the mind or the mentality that a huge amount of work has to be done in order to overcome obstacles in your reality or whatnot, right? A huge amount of work that the moon doesn't even know how to do. The moon doesn't even have the intelligence or the physical ability to do, because the moon is a child. The moon just got here. You know what I'm saying? It's like you giving a toddler a Harvard level college test or some shit like that. You feel me? And you just give him like 10 tests, and it's like the child becomes anxious, and he gets to flustering, and he gets to like you know what I'm saying? You presenting him these quantum algebraic equations or whatnot, and he's just like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Right? So yeah, when Saturn comes with the moon, it brings a great degree of heaviness to the mind that can feel impossible to escape. Now, depending on the sign, depending on the house, depending on the rest of the chart situation or whatnot, this can actually be good. You feel me? It can put so much pressure into the mind to where the individual has no choice but to overcome, but to do the work, but to dominate, you know what I'm saying, but to engage in the high levels of rigorous discipline or whatever you want to call it, right? And eventually that leads to the peace, you know what I'm saying? That leads to the inner world being still. The inner world can be dry, with this conjunction as well, it can showcase deeply suppressed emotions, a dryness in emotional capacity. But it's like it's not that you don't have any emotions; it's that them shits is just so suppressed deep down. You don't really realize it until certain transits or to certain experiences activate it, and you start to experience emotions that you don't necessarily even recognize or know what to do uh, with, or my fault, rather, you don't recognize these emotions, or you don't understand them. Like, you don't even understand why are you feeling this way, or what to even do with this or whatnot, right? Uh, Saturn Moon conjunctions can bring mental laziness, but it depends though. This conjunction could really go into two different directions. if it's if Saturn is the stronger and the more favorable planet, it probably will be better. This will ensure that the person doesn't fall into laziness. They probably most likely will fall into a robotic mode of discipline. You know what I'm saying? That they'll more so fall into rigorous engagement and some type of discipline, and they'll aim all their mental energies, you know what I'm saying? They'll aim their goal and pursuits into attaining some type of Aquarian supreme level of success or whatnot. I believe Terrence Crawford has this combination of Scorpio. Don't quote me on that. I'm gonna go check that, and I'll drop it in the comments if he has, if he doesn't. But Terrence Crawford, you feel me? One of the greatest boxers of all time. You know what I'm saying? Uh, or at least he will go down as that in history potentially, right? So yeah, he has Saturn Moon conjunction in Jesta. So of course he's not lazy. You can't attain that level of boxer supremacy and be lazy. You know what I'm saying? It's just not possible. And Saturn is the more favorable within this sign, and within the Jeshta Nakshatra as well and whatnot, right? I don't know what house is happening in, but Saturn is stronger. The moon is weaker in Scorpio by default. So, and Saturn is what leads that conjunction, and that pushed him to be the great level, high level success of a boxer that he is or whatnot. So again, it can make one kind of, when Saturn is stronger, you can be drier in the emotional capacity. You can distance yourself from all the you can distance yourself a great deal from the quote unquote weaknesses of the moon, or the feeling like you need intimacy, or the feeling like, you know what I'm saying, you need a motherly figure or home, and all of these different things, and yada yada yada, and etc etc. And you can pretty much engage yourself in a high level, rigorous forms of discipline in order to obtain some type of end goal. But if moon is the more dominant energy within this particular combination, by sign, by house, and if the rest of the chart more supports the moon than it does the qualities of Saturn, then this can lead to, like, you know what I'm saying, laziness, depression, trying to use substances to take the heaviness out of the mind. Maybe alcoholism. I've known a guy who was an alcoholic with this combination or whatever. Heavy smokers, like, you know what I'm saying, people who try to escape the heaviness of the mind and things like that. What else? Yeah, lazy, tamasic energy. I don't really want to do nothing. You know what I'm saying? You feel like thinking, or you feel like doing the work is too hard, so you pretty much, you know what I'm saying, just sit in whatever the fuck they sit in or whatever, and the problems can build up and whatnot. So that's how it can become very unfavorable, and it can contribute to high levels of depression, high levels of, you know what I'm saying, heaviness within that particular person's mindset and things like that. Uh, fears, anxieties, all that, yada, 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 etc. That's pretty much the gist of that conjunction and whatnot. Well, okay, so I should mention, why is it Stambhana? Ultimately, Saturn doesn't allow the moon, the inner child, to just have the natural level of peace, security, and instability, inner stability that is allotted. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't just allow that to naturally flow and that to naturally happen as, you know what I'm saying, you as a living, breathing entity are entitled to. You know what I'm saying? You as a source creation, you feel me? You should be entitled to, you know what I'm saying? Just having that peaceable experience of nurturing family, coming in the world, your mama loving you, your mama properly cultivating you, nurturing you, you know what I'm saying? Having that sense of safety, having that sense of security, not feeling scarce, not feeling that you're not worthy or you're a black sheep or your identity is threatened and all of these different complexes that can come with the energy of Saturn, right? Back to Terrence Crawford, like I remember him saying something like when he was younger, like, you know what I'm saying, his mother used to offer to pay the other kids in the neighborhood, you know, $1 or $10 or something if they could beat up Terrence Crawford or whatnot. Like, I don't know the relationship exactly that him and his mother had when they was younger, but I could pretty much suggest as a child that could have probably been a somewhat of an irritating or somewhat of a like, damn, mom, what the fuck? Like, why is you, why is you offering these niggas money to whoop my ass? Like, do you even love me? Type of thought that probably would have crossed his mind at that particular time or whatnot. So yeah, it can show also like an afflicted relationship with the mother, or feeling like a sense of harshness or a sense of coldness that could come from the mother as well, you know, and you don't want that, you feel me? Because in order to really have a strong sense of security within itself, a strong sense of foundation within itself, you know, you want the mind or you want the moon to be satisfied within your chart. A bad moon can cause a lot of problems within the life as well. Doesn't mean the individual can't be successful. A lot of people with bad moons are quite successful, but if the inner world is disturbed, you know what I'm saying, no amount of money, no amount of luxury, no amount of material attainment or whatever you want to call it can really satisfy you, you know? And yeah, Velocity Mooney.